Rachel Boucher here, head of content at Event Marketer, joined by Juanita Chavarro-Arias, managing editor, and Kate Shea, senior editor and manager of digital content. Kate is our curator of The Brief, a weekly dispatch on LinkedIn and eventmarketer.com featuring experiential campaigns and marketing news that caught our attention. We're coming to you with another special edition of this monthly recap of what we call The Brief Live. We've been traveling the country and talking online this month with marketers and partners as part of our Experiential Marketing Month celebration. Check out the link below for the happenings past and present, including how we're going to wrap up the month this coming week. We did wrap our roadshow Trendwatch in Fort Worth, Texas on Wednesday. The Fort Worth Stockyards, what a treat, right, Juanita? Thank you to Kyla and team and to all of you out there who joined us. Before we get into what we learned in Fort Worth, it's time to chat about our favorite industry stories of the week. Kate, spooky season is upon us. What do you got?
It surely is. It is one of my favorite times of year, especially in the experiential world. And we're going to have a ton of great Halloween content coming up. But what caught my eye this week was Pandora's Talisman experience. It's over at the Grove in LA. I believe it'll be there through the rest of the month. And I thought it aligned just really well with the season in terms of this idea of self-expression and the idea of the talisman or a charm itself. And so it seems like Pandora really ran with this theme. There are tarot card readings, there's a talisman quiz, there's this charm table. They have, fun amenities like engraving and gift wrapping. And I would say even if this isn't your jam for some reason, if this isn't the strategy you love, you cannot deny that the experience design is exceptional in this case. And so that is my favorite brief item of the week.
Fantastic. And again, you can catch all of Kate's brief items on eventmarketer.com under the brief, or of course, subscribe to the LinkedIn newsletter to get it in your inbox each week. And Kate, on Monday, you hosted our Experiential Marketing Month digital class on LinkedIn Live featuring B2B events and trade show marketers. Tell us who you sat down with and what you learned.
Yeah, lots of great insights, a fabulous panel of speakers. One of the things that all the speakers really continued to hit on was this importance of storytelling, particularly in the B2B space, in a way that humanizes the brand, which I think is something that we've talked about for a long time, but it seems like it's almost table stakes at this point. And an interesting note was that, in some cases, brands are actually having their customers do the storytelling, and they're telling these stories in a way that makes it more authentic to the people listening. Another thing that, of course, we touched on was AI. And this in this conversation, it was in terms of business operations. So a lot of brands using it to capture and then distill data in a meaningful way. But that's also happening at a really rapid pace. And so at the same time, it comes with this challenge of literally just trying to keep up with the pace of technology, which is, I'm sure, not an easy task these days. And then finally, they spoke about measurement, everyone's favorite topic here. But what I found interesting is that lead gen is still critical in the B2B space. It is a metric that's not going away anytime soon. And just as important, this is a theme we've heard all throughout Experiential Marketing Month, that volume is no longer the goal. It is all about capturing the qualified leads. So I thought that was critical.
Absolutely. That came up in Fort Worth as well, specifically about leaning into experience in order to capture meaningful data. Some interesting strategies that we discussed there. And Juanita and I have hung up our cowboy boots after this final Trendwatch. And again, at our Trendwatch seminars all month long, we had event marketers discussing research, talking shop, digging into the next iteration of AI in the work. Nita, I'll just kick us off with some takeaways from our Fort Worth peers. The importance of portfolio assessments every year, but specifically really mapping out cultural moments and always timing key news and launches with events to create really integrated campaigns for the whole organization. That some of the subjective results of events, from vibe to overall energy, need to be articulated well. We talked about how executive or key stakeholder walkthroughs can help accomplish that. Social listening and tapping into the conversations of audiences in order to create the most meaningful content and experiences for them. And then we talked a lot about pre-show data strategies and how they can allow you to make the on-site be more about the experience and the relationship building, and to your point, Kate, about the storytelling over business. So those are just a few of the things that I took away. Juanita? How about you?
Yeah, data was such a big topic in this trend watch, and a stat that kept coming up is a greater percentage of young people, millennials and Z, are spending their money on experiences. So the big one that they said was by 2030, they're going to be 70% of the workforce. So it's only going to grow, and kind of think about that demographic when you're creating these experiences. And I think throughout the day, that was kind of the way that they shape their experiences. When we think about like the creative brief, when we challenge them to create these campaigns, they were thinking with millennials and particularly Gen Z in mind, what would they like that would be kind of Instagram worthy or something that they would share with friends. And then on the topic of data, be clear about how you're going to use it before you collect it. Like, don't just get these numbers, go out of your way to do something if you're not actually going to do anything with it. And then the education of data ROI internally is important, educating stakeholders and clients on the results and value of events, because sometimes that can be hard to capture. But if you want to build that support for events, then you're going to have to find some way to show it, and then actually show what these data points mean. And from our AI and event tech chat, I think one of the biggest takeaway, and something different that we haven't heard on these other Trend Watch events, is be efficient with the AI prompts to mitigate environmental impacts. Something we've heard is, don't say please and thank you because it's using all this water to process that information. But in order for you to get the right information that you need from ChatGPT or Gemini, was one that our speaker really referenced as one that he's liking. Make sure that you're being specific and coming with the prompt that is going to generate the right response.
Thank you, Juanita. And thanks all of you for tuning into the Brief Live, this special weekly edition as we celebrate and wind down Experiential Marketing Month. Until then, be sure to subscribe to the Brief LinkedIn newsletter. Check out all of our weekly coverage on eventmarketer.com. Check out that Experiential Marketing Month calendar for our final week of happenings. And thanks for tuning in. Bye.